Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick 28 of my 31 favorite power trios of all time. 31 days in the month of July. My 31 favorite power trios. That's right, three guys. Three guys who got together and made a lot of noise. Some of these bands I might mention at some point in time might have been longer or more than three members, but for the time that they were a trio, three people, pretty damn special music were being made. Not that the other times weren't, but in many cases I'm picking bands where if they at some point were a four or a five piece, I kind of prefer the trio the best. That time period where they were operating as three people, maybe just bass, guitar, and drums, or maybe bass, keyboards, and drums, or maybe whatever, right? Whatever the configuration is, they had some time spent as a trio that I like a lot, and they're among my favorites, right? So this particular band, fairly new to this list. If I would have done this list a year or two ago, probably wouldn't have even been on it. This is a band I've been aware of for a while, but I never really fully got into them until fairly recently, very recently, I should say. Band is from San Diego, California. They've been around for about 20 years. Comprised of Isaiah Mitchell on guitar, Mike Edgington on bass, and Mario Rubalcaba on drums. I am talking about the band Earthless. And boy, where do you start with a favorite album by them? You know what? I'm going to go Night Parade of 100 Demons as my favorite of theirs. That is their brand new release, came out this year, for Nuclear Blast Records. These guys are really something else. Basically a mostly instrumental, psychedelic, I guess you call them psychedelic rock, stoner rock, hard rock. Definitely these guys, I think, listened to a lot of krautrock bands back in the day, or just in general, like psychedelic music from like the late 60s, early 70s. I have said many times that I think this band reminds me a lot of, if you can imagine, Jimi Hendrix jamming with Bill Ward and Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. So Hendrix with Black Sabbath's rhythm section, that's kind of what these guys sound like to me. Really long songs with some of the most face-melting guitar soloing you will ever hear. Isaiah Mitchell is a force to be reckoned with. This guy can play, and he does. You know, for some people, this kind of music is not for everybody, right? Because you got these big, heavy riffs, and then Mitchell just goes into the stratosphere with like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-minute long guitar solos, right? A lot of these albums have like really long tracks that are like 10, 15, 20 minutes long, and he just goes off the deep end. And I love it. But the riffs are heavy. The grooves are tremendous. I mean, you got to be into this kind of thing. I can imagine. I've never seen these guys live, but I would love to. And judging by their couple of live albums, I have these two, and I picked up another recent one. And, man, just some fiery stuff. And I wish I could get like a picture of the guys here. I don't think any of these CDs have them. No, probably not. Well, there you can kind of see them here. Right? You can just imagine, like, with all the kind of acid tinged effects behind, like the strobe lights and the lava lamp type stuff. I mean, that's this type of music, man. It's just, you just kind of sit and soak it all in. It's exciting, it's fierce, it's exploratory, it's just really dynamite music. I love these guys, and you know, when you think about it, most of the bands that are on my list are bands that I've been listening to for a long time. So you can imagine that kind of an upstart like this that makes it into my top 31 says a lot. I've been spending so much time listening to these guys in recent months that I couldn't leave them off of this list. So there you have it. Earthless from San Diego, California. Amazing, mostly instrumental, psychedelic stoner rock band. They got all sorts, you know, they have a few albums. They don't have all sorts of albums. They got a bunch. I would say if you want to start with anyone, start with the newest one. That is probably my favorite out of all of them, or tied with my favorite. It's one of my favorite albums of this year, 2022. It's dynamite. But again, be prepared, okay? Long tracks, tons of jamming. If you love fiery, psychedelic jamming, guitar jamming, you love like when Jimi Hendrix would just go off into the stratosphere and just wail on the guitar, that's what you get here with these big big, huge drum bashing and the thick bass. And then when Mitchell is laying down riffs, it's these kind of stoner rock, doomy, groovy riffs. I mean, just this is good stuff. Really, really good stuff, folks. So that's my pick for today. If you've listened to Earthless, let us know what you think down below. If you've never have, go check them out. Then come back and report back. Some of the other names of the albums, Sonic Prayer, Rhythms from a Cosmic Sky, Black Heaven. Black Heaven's got mostly vocals on it. That's their only album that's got a bunch of tracks with vocals. From the Ages is really good too. Can't go wrong with any of these. Really can't. But they're all really good. So, but also list your pick number 28 for today as we run through our favorite power trios of all time. It's funny, I've seen a lot of people who've been posting down in the comments how, like, Pete, this is going to be a really cool month, but man, I don't even think I could think of 10 power trios. I think you could if you really thought about it. At first I was kind of like skeptical that I would come up with a strong list of 31. But then once I started going, I started thinking about it. I got like a list of like 45 already that I've been, I got lots of honorable mentions. There's so many. Just sometimes you don't think of some of these bands as power trios. And some of them, like I said, at one time were a trio and then maybe added some other members. So that's the tricky thing. So some bands you might think, were, they always had 4 people, they always had 5 people. But if you go and look at it, there's some really great bands who maybe later in their career had like 4 members. But like early on, when they first made their splash, they were just a trio. And that music's just as good. So that's the key. You got to really think about this. But like once you get going and start putting that list together, you'd be surprised how many you start amassing. It's like, oh yeah, that band, oh yeah, that band, and that band, and that band, and that band. It's a lot of them. So thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Stay tuned tomorrow morning for another Power Trio pick from me. Till then, what do we got going on here? Tonight, no Hudson Valley Squares tonight, so I'm going to probably be doing a live show about 8 o'clock tonight, so like a live Q&A show. I haven't done one of those in a couple of years. We'll see how that goes. I have a feeling it's going to be as unmanageable as I think it's going to be, but it'll be fun. At least gives you guys something tonight to watch here on the channel while I've basically given everybody on the squares a night off to enjoy the holiday, but I'll be around, so I figure why not. So that's what we got coming up tonight. So about 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Join me live for a little Q&A session for an hour or so, right? And we'll see you then, right? But please make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, click on that notification bell. We've also got the links below to our Ko-Fi page, as well as our merch page for donations and for cool Sea Tranquility gear. So check both of those out as well. And we'll see you later on, and then back here tomorrow with another Power Trio favorite of mine. Till then, I'm Pete Pardo. Take care. Bye-bye.